Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Check, make sure this volume good. Microphone check, microphone check. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the P-Ave Perspective. I'm your host, Mr. O'Neill. Welcome to the show where we discuss real issues, real solutions, and push for greater individuals and push for a greater, better community. Man. Hopefully everybody is okay on this Thursday evening. Hopefully everybody's week has been going great. Hopefully everybody is in good health, good spirits, and I pray for those who aren't. But as usual, man, we got another topic, a topic that I feel like is worth talking about and worth discussing. And the title for today's show is Where is the Love? Recovering genuine love in ourselves and our communities. Where is the love? This is a question I've been asking for a long time now. And just to keep it realistic, I was born in 1972. I'm 52 years old. And I have to say that era, you know what I'm saying, is an era that I believe is one of the most loving and unforgettable eras in black history, in the black community. Because, believe it or not, from the 60s through the early 80s was the epicenter or the main time in one of the greatest movements in black history in America, and that was the Black Power movement. And the Black Power movement itself symbolized self-love, black unity, and just love for ourselves, man. It pushed, a lot of other different agendas, but the main agenda that it pushed was self-love, self-respect, love for who we are as a people. And I got to witness that time. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was young, I got to witness, you know what I'm saying, the power to the people. I got to, witness the brothers and sisters, as we called each other back then. I got to witness the prideful, nature of us, you know what I'm saying, whether it was the way we dressed, you know what I'm saying, in our African garb. The dashikis was hot back then, you know what I'm saying, like the afros were hot, you know what I'm saying. Everybody was brother, sister. It was about peace, love, and prosperity. And like I said, to me, you know what I'm saying, seeing that time and being around, that environment, and like I always stress to people, the fact that I was raised in a country setting. I was, you know what I'm saying, in the early part of my life, like the first 4 or 5 years of my life, I was raised in a country setting. And we all know, you know what I'm saying, that country setting was the foundation, you know what I'm saying, for us as a people. It was a foundation of love. That's why I learned love, genuine love. And but it's like, where did it go? Where did it go? Because today there is no semblance of that type of love. And tonight we're going to discuss, what genuine love really is, how we lost it as individuals and as a community, and most importantly, how do we get it back? How do we get it back? So y'all tune in and chop it with me tonight, man. Y'all tune in and chop it with me tonight. Stick with me. Drop a comment. You know what I'm saying? Share your thoughts, and let's build together. Good evening, good evening. Good evening, Miss Alicia. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. But, let's keep it real. Let's tap into real love, man. Genuine love. Genuine love. What is genuine love? Love isn't just a feeling. It's an action. It's commitment. It's compassion. It's patience. It's truth. It's sacrifice. So much, man. So much. Just genuine. You know what I'm saying? Real love builds. Real love holds people accountable. Real love sees you and still chooses to stay and grow with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Real love. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 through 7, love is described as patient, kind, not envious or boastful, not proud or rude, not self-seeking or easily angered, keeping no record of wrongs. But here's the thing, man. Let's keep it real. Many of us didn't see that kind of love growing up. Some of us never learned it. We only know love through pain, manipulation, or survival. And that's bad, man. Genuine love, just like I said, I was blessed enough, you know what I'm saying, to genuinely love somebody, genuinely love a woman. And genuinely loving that person meant I love being in that person's presence. I love that person, the good qualities about that person and the bad qualities about that person, because I wanted to see that person win. The other thing is, I realized later that once that person realized that they had to move on and they had to seek somebody who was more on their page and more on their time frame, I had to love that person enough to let them go. I had to love that person enough to want to see that person happy, even if that person wasn't with me. And the thing about me and love and just people in general is you know what I'm saying, decided a long time ago that, like I've told people before, my love for my sisters, my love for my little sisters paved the way for me to love everybody else. They paved the way for me to love everybody else. And I swore as a youngster to like always treat the women I came in contact with in my life and people the way I wanted men to treat my sisters, or the way I wanted people to treat me. So that was the foundation of, you know what I'm saying, my learning to love. And like I said, if I had not seen the people, you know what I'm saying, close to me, my grandparents, you know, my dad, my uncles, my aunts, if I hadn't have got a chance to see real love be shown to other people, you know, learning to accept being able to accept real love, like I don't know where I would be today. And I would be like so many of my homeboys and so many of my peers, so many of the women I know. And like that's not good. But me being me and me not allowing myself to get caught up in that is it's like the gift and the curse, because while I'm glad I didn't get caught up in that mind frame, it makes it so hard for me to deal with people nowadays who are not on the level. It makes it so hard because, like I tell my kids all the time, when it comes right down to it, I am love. I am love. Because it's genuine. I've always loved people like I want people to love me. You don't get that in return, but that is the essence of love. That is what the Bible teaches you. Treat others as you want to be treated. So for the most part, throughout my whole life, I have always treated people like I wanted to be treated. Now, in my honesty, like I said, I've been accused of being too honest. I don't feel like I could ever be too honest because I don't feel like a person could ever be too honest with me. I always want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And like I can deal with that. And to me, that's love. So to the people who feel like I have people in my life to say, hey, well, I'm not going to tell you this, I'm not going to tell you that, and I'm not, because in their mind they said, well, I don't want to tell you this because I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't feel like that's love. And like I said, I have my own way of looking at it. I won't say those people don't love me because they were loving how they saw fit to love. But I know what I'm saying, regardless of what, I couldn't justify, know what I'm saying, not telling somebody I love something that's important and that could affect their life. I couldn't justify me not telling them, out of love or because I love them. And that's just me. Like I said, I can't tell nobody else how to love, but genuine love is genuine honesty. Meaning being willing to tell me when I'm wrong. Being willing to tell me, okay, hey, I care about you. You can't, be doing this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, because to me, that's what's genuine. But like I said before, history says that the most loving time for us as blacks in America was during the Black Power movement. That's what I feel like. Because it was all genuine. It was a love for who we are. It was a love for everything about us. Everything about us. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing about love. True, genuine love is not about putting nobody else down. I don't have to put anybody else down, or we don't have to put anybody else down to truly love ourselves and respect ourselves and want the best for ourselves and want to fight for the best for ourselves and others that look like us. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to put people down for that. That's not love. You know what I'm saying? When you have to put other people down or like put other races down, you know what I'm saying, to get to that, like, that's not love. And like I said, from around the 1960s through the 1980s, man, like imagine that. It wasn't that long ago. From the 1960s to the 1980s, the Black Power movement stood for self-love and racial pride, man. That's all we want. Self-love, racial pride, loving everything about us, learning all we could about us, you know what I'm saying, and pushing for our own rights and pushing for our own power within this country, within this system. And for a lot of people, that was too much. That was too bold. That was too ambitious. That was too ambitious. So we all know, you know what I'm saying, the things that the government or the powers that be did to destroy that movement. We already been talking about that before. So, we ain't got to touch on that. But what we do need to touch on is how we got to this point, man. How we got to this point. How we lost the love. And let me say this. From going back over, researching, You know, looking at, just like I said, I was raised through this system. So the system is nothing new to me. Like I said, I saw the love and I saw the transition. And like I said, it keeps going back to crack cocaine. Crack cocaine. Now, let me explain. You know, I'm not going to explain the crack cocaine epidemic. We've talked about that before, and we touched on it on a couple of different shows. But the main thing about the crack epidemic that started this all was killing our self-respect and killing our self-love. And to describe it briefly, I watched, you know what I'm saying, parents, our parents, you know what I'm saying, the parents of my peers, I watched them lose self-love. I watched them literally lose their self-love when they got turned on to crack cocaine. And like I've talked about it before, one of the main things, one of the first things that I saw was how quick they lost sight of their love for their kids and the future that they wanted for their kids, man. That's one of the things I noticed off the top. Because before crack cocaine, like I said, it was all about black power. And black power started with education. So our parents during that time, like most other parents, you know what I'm saying, throughout the United States and the world, they were strict about their education, man. They were strict about wanting us as their kids to go to school, get the education, and allow that education to take us further than they went. That's what it was all about. That's what it was all about, pushing the kids to be better than they was. That's what our parents were on before crack cocaine hit the hood. And one of the first things I saw was they lost it, man. The parents lost it because the first thing I noticed about the crack epidemic in my peers were so many of my peers dropped out of school. It didn't matter no more. Them going to school, you know, it didn't matter no more. That was the first sign of destruction. That was the first sign of self-hate that I saw during that time. And like I tell people before I get ahead of myself, I looked at, you know, how we get to this point and how we lost the love. And it's basically two reasons or two ways, categories. Two categories of people. And it's the people who never saw love, and I've talked about that. I've talked about, you know what I'm saying, the people that I grew up with who were young, who never saw their mom and dad in a marriage or in a proper relationship. Like I tell people all the time, my boy Mike Jack, you know what I'm saying? My boy Mike Jack from the Ave, he was the only guy in the hood that had his dad in his life, and his dad was solid in being a man and being the head of the household and teaching him and his sister, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure them being able to watch their dad love their mom properly and their mom love their dad properly, and they make that work as a couple. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only guy that I can remember that had that. Most of the other people in our neighborhood, like me, a couple of other guys I knew, we watched our moms fight and deal with crackhead dudes who on crack, who couldn't help them, you know what I'm saying, who, you know, were really bringing them down. We watched them fight, and like, that is the one side that I say, that is the side of the women or people who originally knew love and originally had saw, like my mother, you know what I'm saying, saw my grandfather My grandmother, like I said, I was raised around my grandfather. I was raised around my biological grandmother. When it didn't work out between my grandmother and my grandfather got married again. And my new grandmother, you know what I'm saying, raised us, you know, helped raise my mom, them, everything. So we saw love. We saw my granddad show, you know what I'm saying, my grandmother love. I saw my grandmother showing my granddad love. That's where I learned, you know what I'm saying, how a woman is supposed to love a man, how a man is supposed to love a woman. I saw this in action. So you have people like my mom who saw this as a youngster, who knew, had an idea of what love was, how to be loved and everything. But a lot of those people that knew that, a lot of those women, and I know some personally, I'm speaking on personal experience, a lot of them went out and got men who they allowed to destroy the love in them. Whether it was through violence, like my mom fighting over money, having a man drag you down while you struggling to do it by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Having a man, you know, fighting on you physically, emotional abuse, you know what I'm saying? A lot of women, young women, whether it was sexual abuse, whether it was, you know, a lack of love from their mom, not having a dad in their life, like, you have, like I said, two categories. The one category is the women who knew love and experienced love and saw love, and later on allowed somebody to take that away from them. And it's the people on the other side who never got a chance to see it, never got a chance to witness it. Those are the two people, you know what I'm saying? I think that generally people who struggle with this generally fall under those two categories. Now, everybody don't. Everybody's situation is different. But in my personal studies, in my research, those are the two categories that most of the people that deal with this issue of lack of love, that's where it stems from. And like I said, my mother, you know what I'm saying, women my age, like my, you know what I'm saying, first love, she saw that. She was raised in the household with her mom. She was raised with her dad. She saw her dad love her mom properly. She saw her mom love her dad properly. So when she left home with a sense of, okay, I want to be married. I want, you know what I'm saying, the life that I saw. I want the love that my dad showed my mom, that I saw my mom getting. I want to be able to give a man the love that I saw my mom give my dad. And that's the state where I met her. I met her in that state where she was already on point, different from the women I had met in the city. You know what I'm saying? She was from the country. I met her in Dallas, though. Most of those girls, just like I said, they had already got to the point where, you know what I'm saying, they were losing love. And when I say losing love, meaning just like women nowadays, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't see wives, if you didn't see men love properly, like a lot of women, well, I want you to have my baby. You know, I want you this, like that's what, you know, the women in the hood was going for. That's the young girls going for now. Y'all want you to have my baby. I want anything to get in the drawers. We know how it go. And just like I said, I know when I'm running my little game or whatever and they falling for my little game, I'm knowing my game is nowhere near the tightest. So I know if they falling for this, ain't no telling what they falling for. So I wasn't impressed. But when I met a woman with the mindset of my grandmother, who let me know, hey, I was raised like this, I saw this, I saw my dad as head of household, I saw my mother as his helper, you know what I'm saying, and building what he was trying to build, raise his family, like that's what I want. As soon as I saw that, you know what I'm saying, and I wanted that. I wanted that. But, like I said, by that point, you know what I'm saying, the love in me wasn't genuine no more. My God at that point was money. So like I be telling people, I was blinded by, I need to get this money. Then I can worry about, you know what I'm saying, being getting married, and you know what I'm saying, starting my family, and really, you know what I'm saying, enjoying her love and allowing her to enjoy my love. But as fate would have it, she couldn't wait. I didn't move fast enough. I didn't move fast enough. Even though I was honest, even though I was upfront, even though I explained that, hey, I'm not ready yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for the people who don't know, from the people who don't remember, I've said it already. At that point right there, I was looking at 3 kids about to be born. 3 kids at the same time. So I was thinking, I need to get my paper up. I can't be thinking about marriage right now. I got 3 kids on the way. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get my paper up. So I wasn't ready, but I was honest. Hey, I'm not ready. Let me get my paper. But like I said, life goes on. When she told me she had to go on, I said, hey, because I care about you, because I love you, I want you to be happy. So if somebody else is going to make you happy, I'm all for that. I'm not going to stand in your way. But that person, you know what I'm saying, wasn't right. That person she got with next, he wasn't right. He started with the physical abuse, the verbal abuse, you know what I'm saying? And just like I said, eventually she got to the category of, I know what love is, I saw it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got it, but I allowed somebody to come into my life and take it away from me. Take it away from me. To the point where after that, she went to the next relationship, abusive, you know what I'm saying? Verbally abusive, physically abusive. I never did none of that. But like I said, my, focus on money, I couldn't see it. She felt like she needed marriage right then, so she went and got married to the wrong person. And just like I said, the abuse, the physical abuse, the mental abuse, she fell into that category of the person who knew love and had saw love given, but then got with the wrong person and allowed that person to take that out of her. To the point where she got to the point where she didn't love anymore. She speak all the time about how those same people start saying she don't have a heart, she have a gristle. So like I said before, I see people, you know what I'm saying, who allow others to take the love out of them. Just like I said, my mother allowed men to destroy her love for me to the point where I saw it. I tell people this all the time. My mother hated me and hated me because I was a man. But, you know what I'm saying, if I had not seen love and seen a woman genuinely love a man, she would have destroyed that in me. I would hate women to this day, and I'm glad I don't. Because by me already having seen it, I was smart enough to know that the stuff she was spewing, that wasn't right. All men ain't nothing, all men is dogs, all men ain't, she used to have this saying, I probably done said it before. Men and flies I do despise, but the more I know men, the more I like flies. And in her eyes, she said it faithfully and from the heart. She felt like men were lower than flies. And just like I said, if I had listened and I had really watched and see what she was giving me through maintaining an abusive relationship, and like parents used to do back then, this grown folks business. So kids stay out of this. So they pushing that as grown folks business. That's not love. That's not self-love. That's not self-love. And just like I said, I saw through her bad choices, through her bad decisions, we suffered. We suffered. And it took the love almost took it from me. You know what I'm saying? It took, like I said, I got to the point where, just like I said, I've always respected my mom, but the fact that she would, you know what I'm saying, tell me that a man abusing her is grown folks' business, and for me, the guy that was taught to be a protector, to have to stay out of that, I lost all respect for her. In that sense. Like, that's not what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. Because as a man, even a young man, I was a protector, a lover, and a nurturer. And you weren't being protected, you weren't being loved, and you weren't being nurtured. But you said, hey, this is how we doing it, and if you don't like it, then you don't need to be here. And like I tell people all the time, I left. because I knew that wasn't how it was supposed to be. I knew that. But, like I said, it's so many issues that came with that era, man. Just like I said, you took the fathers out of the house. With crack cocaine, you took mothers out of the house. You know what I'm saying? We even had situations in me personally, in our neighborhood where it's got so bad. Like I said, I got a homegirl who jokes about the fact that she started having to sell crack to her mom just to keep her mom from spending the food stamps and the government funding that they was getting, that they were supposed to, spend on her. And like she tells jokes about this in her comedy, and crazy as it may sound, like that's real life. Like, and think about that. How much love and respect do you lose from a parent when you watch your parent go through something like that? When you watch your parent abandon you? You know what I'm saying? When you lose the love of your parent. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. And that's what a lot of people had to deal with. And just like I said, that I feel like was one of the most traumatic eras ever when it came to black people. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said, because if it wasn't, when it comes to the guys, if it wasn't them smoking the crack, you know what I'm saying, and leaving their family to be crackheads, we was out there selling the crack and leaving our, families to go to prison, you know what I'm saying, leaving our kids to be raised by single mothers, you know what I'm saying, who hadn't figured it out on their own because they mothers abandoned them. They families abandoned them. So they had to figure it out on their own. And just like I said, if you ask the average mother back then, starting from my mother, on up into mothers nowadays, if you ask the average black woman, what does it take to raise a kid? The average black woman would tell you it takes a roof over their head, food in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? A roof over their head, food in their mouth, and clothes on their back. Nowhere in there does it say love. Nowhere in there does it say love. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere in there. Like, think about it. And this is just being realistic. Like, we don't love because we don't love ourselves. So when you don't love yourself, you can't be expected to love others. And just like I said, for whatever reason, whether it was taken out by somebody else or whether, you never got a chance to see it in action. Whatever the case may be, at this present time, so many of us do not love ourselves. Do not love ourselves at all. We actually hate ourselves. And that's why we hate people that look like us. That's why we are so negative when it comes to people that look like us. That's why we're so quick to jump on the negativity. That's why so many men are so quick to say, oh, well, women ain't this, or it ain't no good women out there. You know what I'm saying? Even though if you ask them, okay, well, what about your mama? Or what about, you know what I'm saying, your sisters? Or what about this? Like, it's wishy-washy. And I seen somebody ask the other day, like, why would a man say it's no good women out here, you know what I'm saying? Or all women this and all women that when they have a mother. And I'm like, it's obvious that their mother didn't show them love. Their mother didn't know how. My mother didn't know how. Because she allowed somebody to strip her from it. So I don't remember, you know what I'm saying, my mother telling me she loved me. I don't remember, you know what I'm saying, my mother telling me that I'm a handsome black man, that I can be anything I want to when I grow up. I was told that. I was told that by the women in my family. You know what I'm saying? I was told that by some of my great aunts, my non-biological mothers, who I call my mothers, you know what I'm saying? And those who weren't totally gone. You know what I'm saying? Those who were still able to love. I was loved and I was nurtured from women, and that's why I don't hate women today. But, you know what I'm saying? Do I understand why, women hate men? Yes. But whose fault is it that they do? It's theirs. It's theirs, because I could have easily followed in my mother's hateful ways and said, I hate women, and justified it. That's what I was taught. I could easily justify it because that's what I was screamed at me my whole life. You're not gonna be shit just like your sorry ass dad. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said, like I never, you know what I'm saying? Now I allowed that to make me rebel against it because I knew it was fake. I knew it was false. So I rebelled against it. And I, you know what I'm saying, made some decisions and choices just to show that you can't dictate me. Just because you feel like that or you feel like you can't dictate me and what I'm going to do. That's not how it works. I get the choice. I get the decision. And that's what, with anybody that has been in an abusive relationship, anybody that had, like, you have the choice to be a victim or to be victorious over that situation. Yes, because I've seen people that have been victimized and refused to be victims. They took back control. You know what I'm saying? They use what happened to them, like my coach, Angela Brand says. They use their mess to turn that into their message. And that mess strengthened them and strengthened their message to the point where not only did they bounce back from what they went through, but they put themselves in a position of where they could help others overcome the same things. And that's what I call strong black women. And those women, they learn how to love again. They learn how to love themselves and therefore learning how to love others. So it can be done. It can be done. But like I say, me personally, I noticed that, let me see what the time. Like I said, I noticed that, you know, from, like I said, like 1986, me born in 72, 82, 86, 14 years old. Just like I said, I noticed stuff started changing. I noticed all them changes. Excuse me. I noticed crack hitting. You know, everybody getting turned out on crack. Everybody losing their morals. Everybody losing their values. People starting to value crack, whether it was because you were addicted to the high, or like me, where you were addicted to the money. To the point where it didn't register. And just like I said, even myself, like I never stopped just all the way loving or hating anybody, but my love for money, my greed for money and not wanting to do without. Poverty, you know what I'm saying, doing that. My love for money turned into greed to the point where I never hated anybody and I never even think about hating nobody in my life. But I did get to my lowest point, and at my lowest point, I said, if it come down to my kids starving or me not being able to take care of my kids, before I let my kids starve, I will make somebody else's kids starve. And that was my lowest. Because that wasn't love. That wasn't love. And what that was saying was, I'll be willing to go out and take something from you to feed my kids and fuck your kids. And just like I said, that's not love. That's when it all turned into greed. That's when it all turned into negativity. And just like I said, that led to deeper self-hate to the point where, like I said, at my lowest, when I made it to hell, I was inside a prison cell. When I reached hell, I realized hell was in your mind. Hell is not a place. I realized hell is in your mind. And most of us, you know what I'm saying, are caught up in the hell in our mind and don't even realize. I realized it, you know what I'm saying, when I was in prison, when I got to a point where I really, thought about it and I really realized that what I felt like money and making sure I wasn't without, that drove me to the point where I didn't care if I lived or died. All I cared was, if I'm here, I'm getting to the money. If I'm lucky enough to see today, I'm getting to the money. I'm not focused on it because and that was that survival mode. And once you hit survival mode, you get to the point where you don't love yourself and you don't love nobody else. And that's where we stand right now as a people. So many of us, you know what I'm saying, hate ourselves. You know what I'm saying, hate who we are. That's why we don't take care of ourselves. You know, we done let ourselves go. You know what I'm saying? We are the most obese people, you know what I'm saying, in society right now. And we call it thick, and we justify it, and we say, well, if you don't like me when I'm out of shape and unhealthy, then there's something wrong with you. Instead of, you know what I'm saying, loving ourselves enough to keep ourselves in shape and keep, you know what I'm saying, love ourselves. Love ourselves. We don't do that. So now it's, you know what I'm saying, oh, well, if you can't deal with me, then this, and if you can't this, and if you can't that, and if you can't accept me the way I am, and if you can't this, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You don't love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you will take better care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You will take better care of your health. You know what I'm saying? And you will be able to love those around you if you love yourself. Good evening, good evening. I was taught to show love instead of telling. Your trials help you be who you are. Love is what's missing in the black community because we will hurt each other before helping each other. Exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's like I said, that is the worst because we don't love ourselves. That's the only way we can go around and match energy with people or tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I've been in that mind frame. I got in that mind frame heavy to the point where I switched it up and didn't say, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. I said, I'm going to do unto others as they do unto me. That justified everybody that, you know what I'm saying, brought drama or brought strife my way. That justified me bringing drama back to them. And that's not love. That's not love at all because me trying to bring drama back to everybody that brought drama to me, that made my life hard. That put me in the penitentiary. That made me living my life day to day difficult. You know what I'm saying? That made me, put me in a situation where, like I said, I didn't love myself. So if I didn't love myself, I couldn't love my kids. I couldn't love my family. I couldn't love nobody. And that's where a lot of us are right now. We run around here and think that it's like we can't love because we don't love ourselves. And just like I said, all you have to do is look around. Look around. I can look at people. You know, we look at these people, the way they dress, how they come up out the house, you know what I'm saying, in any kind of way. You know, look in any kind of way, they don't love themselves. We look at the people on social media who constantly keeping up mess, who constantly sharing, you know, lies and drama and bullshit and keeping up mess. Why? Because they don't love themselves. Because they don't love themselves. And we never going to be able to really be great as individuals or as a community until we truly learn to love ourselves. Until we learn to love ourselves. And just like I said, that means tackling, you know what I'm saying, the real, tackling the mental, and tackling what's really, you know, holding us back and preventing us, you know what I'm saying, from loving each other. Exactly, Kinfolk. You got to start with self. Like, it don't work without self-love. It don't work. And just like I said, we are so content on, nowadays, fixing up the outside. You know what I'm saying? Putting makeup on, putting hair in, you know what I'm saying? Wearing body shapers and body shaping pants. And I see the men, you know, wearing the tight shirt that press your belly down and make you look like you got some muscles. Like, bro, like hiding your flaws, you know what I'm saying, or trying to hide your flaws, that's not self-love. That's not self-love. You know what I'm saying? Getting mad at people because they point out your flaws or because they point out your weakness, that's not self-love. That's not self-love. I know I have flaws. I'm okay with that because I'm working on them. So I don't care if people call them out because I know I'm working on them. I know I'm not perfect. But I love me enough to constantly try to better myself, to constantly try to be a better person, to constantly try to be a better man. Because without being me loving myself, I can't love my family. I can't love nobody. I can't. I can't love anybody, or I can't hope to do anything to help anybody unless I'm loving myself properly. And that, believe me, that doesn't mean, that mean whether I'm with somebody, whether I'm not with somebody or whatever. Like, I'm going to always love me, even if it's at the expense of somebody else. Because I know I'm not going to allow myself, you know what I'm saying, to be hurt or be drugged down by somebody who don't love themselves. That's not how it works. Now, How do we get it back? That's the $1,000,000 question. How do we get it back? How do we get it back? First of all, like Miss Jacqueline said, first, foremost, and always, we have to get back to loving ourselves, man. It don't work. It don't work. You can't love nobody else. You will never be able to love somebody else. You will never be able to be loved properly if you don't know how to love yourself. That is the basis, the foundation. And just like I said, with so many women, I'm a man, I can tell. With so many women, you know what I'm saying? When you ask these women today, what do you need from a man? I don't need nothing. Or I need a man. It's all the way around what you really need. Or I don't tell no man that because me and you that against you. And all of that shows me you don't love yourself. And for the women who say, if you got to teach a man how to love you, then he not a man. If all women can be loved the same, y'all not women. Let me say that. If one man can love all of y'all the same, y'all are not women. Y'all are robots. Because everybody is different. So when a woman say, well, I ain't got to teach no man how to love me, you don't know what love is because I'm a unique individual. So any woman that ever came into my life, I'm cool with schooling on how to love me because I'm a special dude. You can't just love me like you love all these other suckers. Get that straight. And I feel the same way about a woman. I've never went in a relationship saying, I know how to love women. So no, because I know that every woman is an individual. And if she loves herself, she's a truly great individual. And she's unlike anybody else. So let's get that straight. Let's get that straight. But, you know what I'm saying? When people talk about the way you dress, you should not get upset because the way you are represent exactly. Like we know, you know, when we out here bad, we know that. We know, and just like I said, we've gotten so far away from loving ourselves to the point where it don't register no more. Oh, I'm grown, I do what I want to do. If they don't like it, then, you know, this to that third, this to that third. Like, that is self-hatred, regardless of what we want to call it. That is self-hatred. You know what I'm saying? That is self-hatred at its finest. That is self-hate. And just like I said, it shows in our actions, and it shows how we treat others, and it shows how we live our life. It's out there now. You know what I'm saying? We know it. Like, it ain't no, like, I know I've been, you know what I'm saying, intent. I've been communicative. I've been open. I've been honest with, I know people in my family that, you know what I'm saying, are unloving and can't love. You know what I'm saying? And I don't knock them. I try to give love where I can, but I'm never going to let them drag me down to that point. I see it. And just like I said, I can't do nothing for you if you can't do nothing for yourself. You have to, know what I'm saying, decide, hey, man, I'm going to love me. I'm going to find the love, you know what I'm saying, that to really love myself. And once you get to that point, then you can truly, you know what I'm saying, know what it means to love somebody else and allow yourself to be loved. But like kinfolk say, our ancestors knew how to get along. And hey, kinfolk, like, that's what I'm saying. Just like I was saying earlier, that black power time through the 60s, through the 80s, you know, ain't like we was like dressing, you know what I'm saying, brother, sister, you know what I'm saying, on black businesses, strong black communities, all of that. That was really us loving each other, us loving the people, our people, and us loving our communities. It showed. We thrived during that era. And just like I said, boom, what happened? Know what I'm saying? Boom, we started, know what I'm saying, just feeding into anything, going for anything, allowing people to tell us anything. You know what I'm saying? Allow people to make us feel any kind of way, allowing people to treat us any kind of way. That's not love. That's not love. But in order to get back, you know what I'm saying, the love, like you said, it can be restored, but it starts, like, you know what I'm saying, kinfolk said, it starts with self-love. Loving yourself. We have to, you know what I'm saying, start working to heal those wounds. Start working to heal those wounds that we allowed other people to cause. Think about that. We allow people to hurt us. So you think we can't overcome hurt? We allow people to hurt us. I realized that a long time ago. You can't do nothing to me I don't allow you to do. Think about that. That's accountability. I started taking accountability young. So I've never, you know what I'm saying, been upset with a woman because she cheated or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you showed me what to look out for. That's a lesson that I learned. I'm not going to let you do that, and I'm not going to let the next woman do that. Because I value me, I love me to that extent. But forgiving yourself, being able to forgive yourself. Some of us, you know what I'm saying, stuff happened when we were young. We had no control over that. Think about it. I tell people all the time, I hated, you know what I'm saying, for a long time that I couldn't defend my mother. But I had to recognize I was a child, man. I did what I could. But it hurt me even more so when I got old enough and finally defended her, you know what I'm saying, and she didn't take my side. So we got to learn to forgive. I had to learn to forgive myself. Like, bro, you did the best you could. She just didn't want no help. That wasn't on you. You did what you could. She just didn't want to be helped. She was okay with it. So it wasn't on you. You have, you know what I'm saying, to know your worth, man. And just like I be telling people, I put my own value on me. But like I said, y'all get it twisted and thinking, I don't think I'm valuable to everybody. I don't think, you know what I'm saying, that my value, you know what I'm saying, transcends to everybody, because a lot of y'all ain't on shit. I'm going to just keep it real. A lot of y'all ain't on shit. So I'm too valuable for y'all to keep it real. I wouldn't, know what I'm saying, be with a lot of y'all because I really know my value, and I really know that my value wouldn't be appreciated, and my value wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying, a good credit to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm only valuable to the right people, and I understand that. So y'all have to understand that as people, you're not valuable to everybody. Everybody's not going to see your value. But you have to really start valuing yourself, because the person who don't give a damn, who's going to go outside any kind of way, and who going to say, well, if you don't accept me as who I am, that's no value. That lowers your value. Let's be realistic, because anybody that's thinking about the future, if you're not keeping in shape, it ain't going to be too much future. If your health don't mean nothing to you, to where you taking care of your health, I'm not even looking to the future with you, because I'll be, you know, fooling myself. If you're not going to take care of your health, what would I look like to my being with you for the future? You're not even planning to be here for the future if you're not taking care of your health. So, just like I said, knowing your worth, you know what I'm saying, setting boundaries, man, setting real boundaries on how people treat you, on how you allow, because that's what killed me all the time. Everybody want to talk about how men ain't shit, but like, y'all chose these guys. That would be like me, you know what I'm saying, if all the women I done been with ain't shit, like, that says a lot about me. Because I had to choose to be with these women. I could have chose not to be with them and pushed on, or I chose to be with them. It's simply that. So I would never say all women ain't shit. Like, okay, maybe I'm not shit because I'm attracting all these ain't shit women. So that's what I'm saying. Like, come on, start setting boundaries. Start setting boundaries. Don't be, you know what I'm saying, well, I just want a man to treat me right. Or I just want a man that can make me happy. Or I just want, no, start setting some real boundaries, man, on how you want to let people treat you, what you're not going to allow. You know what I'm saying? Start setting real boundaries. Then start loving others, man. That's the next step. Practice empathy, man. One of the main things that God blessed me with is empathy. To the point where even if I can't fully relate, I'm going to try to understand. And that's the first step. That's the first step. But speak truth with compassion, man. You might not like what I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? You might not like what I gotta say. I got a nephew, you know what I'm saying, who still wanted to play the field and get married at the same time. I told him he don't need to get married because he not ready to be married. You know what I'm saying? His girl not ready. I didn't get invited to the wedding. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, ask me how many times he done cheated since then, and showed that he wasn't ready to get married yet. But I was the bad guy because I was the only one that said, hey man, you don't need to be doing it. You're not ready. To everybody that he told, oh, why would he say that? Why would he say that? He hating on, he telling the damn truth. He telling the damn truth. Now he kissing butt. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make it married, right? Because he done cheated so damn much. But I'm the bad guy. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But, just like I said, I know no self-love. No self-love. If you can't respect somebody telling you the truth and what's real, No self-love. You can blame me. And you can say I'm a hater. You can say this. You can blame anybody, you know what I'm saying, that's going to tell you the truth because you don't want to accept the truth. You can do that. But that don't make you right. And that makes you fake. And that shows that you don't love yourself. So I don't worry about people who I see don't love themselves. So you can't, because think about it, you didn't love her enough, you know what I'm saying, to stay single and do, or tell her, like me, hey, I'm going to still do me. I'm going to, know what I'm saying, like that's me. That's what I do. That's what I do with women. I don't have to lie and say, oh, well, I'm going to, no, because I love me. So I have to love the people I deal with enough to let them know that I'm not ready for that. So if you get with me, I'm still going to be doing my thing. See, they say, oh, that's this and that's that. That is real. That is love to me. I'm going to let you know exactly what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it. So you know, you get to choose whether you're going to deal with it or not. I have learned that black people don't like the truth. The men and women need to stop talking about each other and start listening. That's all, Jack, that's why I do it. Because somebody have to tell the truth. And just like I said, we are not going to get anywhere if we keep sugarcoating, if we keep, you know what I'm saying, getting around the subject. I love women. I love black women. I love my brothers. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to be out here crying down and crying over my sisters and my brothers who don't love themselves. I'm not finna get caught up, you know, trying to stand for a woman who don't love herself and feel like I'm supposed to stand and defend her because she a black woman. No, because when you love yourself, you carry yourself with a certain amount of respect to it demands respect from everybody else. Yeah, it demands respect from everybody else. But be present, man. Be present. Start being there for people. I know I'm not the best, man, but I try to reach out to my people all the time. I try to check on them. You know what I'm saying? Try to stay in contact. I try to, you know, network, meet with my people, come by, let's kick it, let's sit down, let's talk. Let me make sure you're good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just a loving person, man. And I know I can't love everybody, but it don't stop me from trying. You have to, know what I'm saying, show me that I can't love you and I'll stop. Other than that, I'm going to love you all I can. Even though I'm saying, just like I said, telling you the truth, telling you when you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Love ain't supporting you when you're cheating. Love is, you know what I'm saying, telling you, hey, man, you don't need to be doing that. You got a good woman at home, man. You need to go home. That's the partner that loves you. Like I tell all my partners, don't lie on me. Don't tell her you was with me. I'm not with that. I'm not going to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? At all. So I'm hating, I'm this, I'm that. That's because you don't love yourself. I got me. I got me. I got me. But stop loving out of fear, man. Control or survival, man. Start trying to love genuine. And that's the thing with women these days. Love is not, I don't want you talking to this broad. I don't want you in this girl face. Or you got to come in at a certain time. Or that's not love. That's not love. That's what these dudes been giving y'all. That's why y'all messed up. That's why y'all messed up, because they've been telling y'all that loyalty is staying down with them, even though they, you know what I'm saying, lying to you and going against everything they promise you. You know what I'm saying? So you come, you know what I'm saying, after they done warp your mind, you come to the next real brother with that same shit and he's not trying to hear it. So he weak or he can't handle you enough. No. He's a man and he's a loving man. And no loving man is going to, you know what I'm saying, allow somebody to come into their life who don't love themselves and destroy that love for themselves. That's what so many people have did, man. That's what so many people have did. I'm running out of time. But we have to learn to allow ourselves to be loved too. Let people in. You know what I'm saying? Stop thinking everybody's coming to destroy you. And then the people that you know that are destructive, keep them the fuck away from them. Stay away from them. Keep them away from them. I can't understand why now most of y'all who've been abused by men still deal with those men. Can't stand them, but you still deal with them. Because you want to show him that you passed him and that you doing good and you want him to see and this shit. That shit there is not love. That shit is not love. Why would you entertain or even entertain the thought of somebody who's abused you you know what I'm saying, and attempted to destroy you because you don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. We got to learn to be vulnerable. We got to learn to accept healthy love, even when it feels unfamiliar, because y'all running from it because you ain't used to it. But we got to learn to show it to our kids, man. That's the most important thing, because we don't know love, and our kids suffer. I know little boys now that, you know what I'm saying, been raised by hurt women and damaged women that don't even tell them they love them. The same shit I went through back then. And think about it. As a man, I was, you know what I'm saying, strong enough to know I didn't get that as a kid, so I'm going to make sure my kids get that. So from the start, my sons, my daughters, hey, I love you. I love you. I'm proud of you. You do anything you want to. You this. Like, I know mothers right now, you know what I'm saying, you got sons running around here that hate women because of their mothers. Because they mothers hate men. They mothers talk to them any kind of way. They talk to them reckless. And I guarantee you, just like my mama, you know what I'm saying, I know kids, men personally, who say, I'll never date a woman like my mama. I know some men, you know what I'm saying, damn, they're going to go gay. So they'll never even date women because of how their mama treated them, how their mama talked to them. You know what I'm saying? Because how she let somebody take the love out of her to the point where she can't even give it to her kids. We wondering, you know what I'm saying, like, why these kids growing up like that? They mothers. They mothers. They mothers. So, we got to learn to show it to our kids. We got to learn to display it in our relationships. We got to learn to support one another. Not tear each other down. That is the worst shit we got going on right now. We so quick to tear each other down. We are so quick to tear each other down. But look, man, like I say, love is not gone. It's buried under pain. And our job is to dig it up and breathe life into it again, man. Tonight, I challenge each of you to, number one, reflect on what love means to you. Number two, identify who taught you love or failed to. Identify that. And number three, choose one act of genuine love this week for yourself and for someone else. Let's stop expecting love without first becoming love, man. We've lost a lot as a people, but we can't afford to lose love, man. We can't. That's the only thing that's going to bring us together and really give us a chance to really build ourselves up. We got to learn to love ourselves, and we got to learn to love others, and we got to learn to allow ourselves to be loved. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the P-Ave Perspective. Be safe, be healed, and be loved. Peace, people. And hey, if you like what we talked about today, if you feel like somebody else can use this, please share the video. If you, and whether you tuning in, watching the live stream, or whether you watching the replay of the video on YouTube, let's make a difference, man. Let's learn to love. Let's start working back toward loving somebody, loving ourselves, and allowing ourselves to be loved, man. Like, want y'all to take care, have a great rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see y'all again next week, man. Peace and prosperity, people.